The findings of a study on corruption and financial crime in the civil service have been made public 2 days after a former high-ranking civil servant was charged with misappropriating $1.7 million. The study found that most cases involve junior frontline officers and small amounts of money. Conducted by the Commercial Affairs Department and the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, it examined probes into public officers over the past 5 years.
The study, conducted earlier this year, was commissioned by the Prime Minister's office. This follows the recent spate of high-profile cheating and corruption cases involving civil servants. Out of all the public officers under probe, more than 90% were men. Almost half were O-level holders or below. And 51% were from enforcement units. These would be frontline officers from agencies like the Home Team, the Housing and Development Board, the National Environment Agency and the Manpower Ministry. Money was the most common form of gratification, accounting for 65% of all cases. Sexual favours accounted for 12%, and a combination of money and sexual favours accounted for about 5%. 40% of the monetary gratification or reward involved sums of less than $1,000. Those involving larger sums of more than $30,000 accounted for nearly 20% of cases.
The statistics show that it's not a deep-seated problem. Nonetheless, it's something the Public Service Division needs to address.
I think if you look at the impact as on the overall, that this really transcends all kind of levels. So what we want to be sure is that there is a organizational-wide policy in terms of dealing directly with the frontline staff. At the end of the day, is really making sure that everybody uphold integrity.
The study showed that the number of cases involving public officers has remained low and fairly stable over the past 5 years. In a letter to public officers, head of the civil service, Peter Ong, said officers cannot be complacent. He added every case is one too many. So the Public Service Division will review if there should be tighter rules imposed on casino visits by civil servants. In the latest case, former CPIB Assistant Director Edwin Yeo had allegedly used some $241,000 of what he had misappropriated to gamble at Marina Bay Sands Casino. Currently, there is no across-the-board ban on officers going to Singapore's 2 casinos. Some agencies which deal directly with the casinos, such as the Casino Regulatory Authority, have a blanket ban on their officers. For others, like the police force, it depends on the job function. Police officers who deal with enforcement matters related to casinos are banned from visiting casinos. But general law enforcement officers need only declare within 7 days if they had visited a casino here. Observers say any change in guidelines will have to address some practical concerns.
There are other forms of gambling too. Should we stop them from boarding cruise ships because we don't know whether they're going to gamble if they're on a cruise ship? Should we stop them from betting on football games? So I think there has to be a sensible rule that takes into account real conflicts of interest, and there has to be sensible rules that takes into account the optics of the matter. So you may want to draw a line to say maybe officers of a certain seniority or officers holding certain positions should set a standard, set an example for their fellow officers. But to say absolute ban, absolute no-no, that may be a bit difficult to impose.
Another area being looked into is credit checks on public officers. Currently, the onus is on civil servants to make an annual declaration on their financial status. So the question is, where does one draw the line in requiring public officers to report their financial status? Observers say this involves an individual's private life, so any new rule will have to be balanced, fair and practical.